Okay, I have time to get one more in before I go to dance. Um, so as I said, there's a couple songs on the Black Panther album. There is All the Stars is what I'm gonna break down right now, and then there's one more, Paramedic, that I totally forgot to like include in the initial breakdown, so I'm gonna have to break that down really quick and then include that because I do think it's important to include. But All the Stars was one of the more commercial songs from that album. Most people probably know this song. Um, but I didn't realize how many kind of like references to Drake that Kendrick makes. And it's more of like a serious, like coming at him in like little bro type of way, or big bro in his case type of way. So I don't know, I think it's just special. And then SZA is another one of my favorite artists, and I love her on this song as well. So, pre chorus, Kendrick Lamar says, "Love, let's talk about love. Is it anything and everything you hoped for? Or do the feeling haunt you?" And he goes, "Ha." And I put like those background vocals kind of sound like something haunting you. And he says, "I know the feeling haunt you." Huh. So this first part, he's already setting us up and to let us know that like he's gonna be talking about love in this song, and maybe he's gonna be also coming from love in this song. Then SZA says, "This may be the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars approach you. All the stars approach you. All the stars approach you. This may be the night my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer." I can't do it without singing. So here, like this whole chorus part is symbolic of the past spirits in the movie. Like when you pass over to the other life, you become part of like the spiritual world. And if you are, I don't want to say inducted, but like kind of like a fighter warrior in Wakanda, the past spirits will come visit you sometimes. So this is kind of like what SZA is referencing. It's one, Kendrick says, "Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me." So he's just saying like, what are you gonna do? This is nothing new to me. I'm used to this. "You can bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me." That is such a cool line. Like, you can bring all these things ready for war, but ultimately you're not going to be able to bring the truth to me. And so far Drake hasn't, or anyone really that's gone against Kendrick. Um Truth could also be like the word of God, because we know that Kendrick spends time with himself and God. And so he's saying nobody else can bring that to me. Fuck you and all your expectations. I don't even want your congratulations. So we know that Drake was one of the few rappers that didn't congratulate Kendrick when he was named like the best MC, when he was passed the torch. Like, if anything, Drake was talking down on Kendrick, saying like, "I don't know why people say this, blah blah blah. He's not consistent," talking all this shit. So he's like, "I don't even want your congratulations. I recognize your false confidence and calculated promises." Kendrick is telling Drake, "You're fake confident." And that's true. Like, Drake is always trying to put up this front that he knows that he's him, but in reality, he's probably very insecure. And we see that through the actions that he takes, just constantly trying to get validation. Um, and when you speak with other rappers, you tell them they'll be successful with your help, or you give them the Drake stimulus package, and then like you kind of keep them down. And we see this with so many of his artists, like Division, Party Next Door, like so many. All okay, yeah. "I recognize your false confidence and calculated promises. I hate people that feel entitled. Look at me crazy because I didn't invite you." And obviously, he's just saying, I hate people who feel entitled because they're so famous or they're at this level that they think that they can just get whatever, do whatever. "Oh, you important? You the moral of the story? You endorsing? Mother effer, I don't even like you." "Corrupt a man's heart with the gift." So I put here, this gift could be equal to talent, skill, or love. And like when he's saying like, I go in with those things and corrupt your heart because it's not normally what you're expecting. Um this could also be a reference towards the Adam and Eve. Eve gave Adam the Okay, what I was saying was he's saying that I gave you this knowledge, I corrupted your heart with this knowledge, kind of like Eve did with Adam. That's how you find out who you dealing with. A small percentage who I'm building with. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning. On my mama, that's the realest ish. And so, like I said, Kendrick here is really just being straightforward, being real, not like goofy, not petty, just straight up. And then I wanted to include SZA's verse in here. She says, "Skin covered in ego, get to talking like it involved. Like a rebound, no control. No off switch in the way that you bringing me down." And this just breaks my heart. But I wonder if like, because when she says skin covered in ego, this could be a reference specifically towards Drake, because we know, like I said, Drake's ego is always at the forefront. Um, and so I wonder if the rest of this verse is about him and maybe how he treated her in the relationship that they did have. Um, and when she says like no off switch in the way that you're bringing me down, like that's sad. It's a turn on and get it away from me, but she like it. No, you mean wrong, keep away from me. And it's all wrong, get it away from me. Yeah, yeah. And I just cry for no reason. I just pray for no reason. I just thank for the life, for the day, for the hours, and another life breathing. How did it all go to feel good? I put SZA as asking Drake, how did you get here? Like, lose your morals just to feel good. How did it how did it feel to how does it feel to be in this place right now? You'd leave it all if it all feel you'd leave it all if it feel bad. Better live your life. We're running out of time. And then it goes into the chorus again. So that was like a quick little one, but I just thought that was like not a sweet, but it was an interesting way that Kendrick and SZA approached speaking to Drake. And I feel like it would be how you would speak to someone who you've maybe tried to approach in like a subtle way, or you've tried to approach it in a silly way and nothing's working. And so this is your first time like really sitting down and trying to give them a chance and telling them like, I'm coming from love at this point. Class is back in session. I had to break down Paramedic, so it took me a little bit, and then sometimes I just get tired of talking and hearing my voice, so I'd have to take breaks. But we're back. So, as you heard, this that that is the beginning of Paramedic. The like singer voice that you hear is Zakari. He's another artist that's signed to TDE. And then you hear Kendrick saying that like the I am Killmonger and like all of the little like background vocals or whatever, that's Kendrick. So this first part right here, we know that Kendrick is taking on the persona of Killmonger, which is the antagonist in Black Panther. And Killmonger is from Northern California. I think in my last video I said LA, I meant California, but he's specifically from the Bay Area. And his story is kind of like his dad was obviously from Wakanda when he fled Wakanda to come to the US in Northern California. And when he came over here, he took vibranium from Wakanda and was selling it to like colonizers over here. So they exiled him from Wakanda, and I kind of mentioned this in the last breakdowns, but they don't really treat tourists well. And so Killmonger in the movie is his mission is kind of like to get back to Wakanda to claim the throne. We can kind of like compare this to what Kendrick's doing, trying to bring the culture back. Although it's a bit different with Killmonger, but Kendrick's trying to bring the culture back and claim the throne. Also, to point out, the other rappers that are on this song, SOB and RBE, they are also from the Bay Area. So, it's strategic that Kendrick kind of like specifically coordinated that. So, getting into the actual lyrics, Kendrick says, I am Killmonger. Then Zakari says, no one's perfect, but no one's worthless. So, I put here, although we may have flaws, like no one's perfect, just because you have flaws doesn't mean that you're worthless, doesn't mean that you don't have worth. Then he says, we ain't deserving of everything heaven and earth is. And I just put here, like, we often take for granted what we call our home. Like, Earth is our home, and we've been treating it very badly, and we see the repercussions of that. And it's only going to get worse from here if we continue to, treat our home the way we do. And so he's just saying, like, we don't deserve like the beauty that Earth brings, and this is like it, like heaven on earth. Then he says, but word is good. And then Kendrick says, this is my home. Then Zakari repeats, said, no one's perfect. And then he says, but no one's worth this. Instead of worth less, he says, but no one's worth this. So I put, this could mean no one's worth this, like, behavior in regards to Killmonger being exiled from Wakanda and the way that he was like kind of treated. He could be referring to that, or it could be like in response to like what Drake was doing in the industry in general, saying like no one is worth that behavior. Then he says, we ain't deserving of everything heaven and earth is, but word is good. And then Kendrick says, Northern California. Then we get into the verses. So this first verse is with Slimy B and Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick starts off, he says, hey, they better call a paramedic in the street. I got leverage in the street. So you normally call like a paramedic when there's like an emergency, when someone's been shot, killed, injured, if there's someone can't breathe, like an emergency. And I got leverage in the street. Kendrick is just saying that he has like the streets on his side. He has family members that are in gangs in the streets. And then in the movie, Killmonger poisoned like a historian at like this African museum, and he played it off by calling for paramedics to like seem innocent, like he wasn't the one that did it. Referencing back to that, like he's able to kind of, have someone in the streets and then be like act all innocent or whatever. Then Slimy B comes in and he says, I'm a California N and I'm heavy in the streets. 22 or 23, I'm heavy with the heat. So a 22 and a 23 are both guns. He's just saying, I have the heat with me, I have the guns with me. Hit you with this chop, paramedics can't save you. Like a chopper is like an automatic gun. So he's just saying, like, he's gonna hit you with an automatic and you're not gonna be able to come back to life. Really in the field, come on, bro. I know that ain't you. So he's saying, I'm really in the streets. I'm really like that. And you're not. 2018, hell nah. I ain't gonna fade you. Gonna paint you. TDE and SOB, we can't lose. So he's saying, I'm not gonna like fight you. No. I'm gonna paint you. And this is like slang that gangs will often use to describe like killing someone, painting the street with their blood. And then TDE, obviously Top Dog Entertainment, and SOB are, like I said, the rappers that are on this track as well. We can't lose. Then he says, and bitch made, that's just something I can't relate to. So he's just saying, like, you're not really tough. Slimy B continues. He says, turn on the gang, that's just something that I can't do. So I think he's could be referencing Drake, like always going against his peers and like just getting what he can to gain from them and then kind of just like leaving them wherever. Then he says, Fallout over a B, that's just something that I can't do. And we know that Drake is always trying to get other men's women involved with him or just like stir things up with a relationship, but never anything else really. And then he says, that's just something that I can't do. Rip every beat I get on, I was made to. Basically, he just every time he's on like a feature or on his own song, he's gonna tear it up. He's gonna go hard. This Glock gets a growling something like a Black Panther. And so a Glock, again, is another gun. And he's saying it will resemble like the sound of a Black Panther when they growl. Trying to touch a mill, F saying, get your bands up. Effing with the gang, yeah. Yeah, I had to man up. One fist in the air, I ain't finna put my hands up. And so I think when he says one fist in the air, I think he means like the black power fist. And he's saying, I'm not gonna like put my hands up. Basically, kind of like referencing protesting against black brutality. Then it goes into the chorus, and Kendrick sings, I wish it end would. I wish it end would. I wish it end would. So he's just like saying that throughout the whole chorus. And this is like a saying that people in the black culture say when someone's kind of like trying to tempt them or whatever, like, I wish you would. And it's what you kind of say before you go into like a fight or something. Then we go into verse 2 with Lil G and Kendrick Lamar. Lil G says, got shooters tapping in and for them bands in. Kendrick says, West Coast ends, yeah, they blowing fans in. And so this is just him referring to like them being from the West Coast, having guns. And when he says blowing fans, I imagine like, you know, those little fans that you can blow, like, and when you blow it, it like goes fast in a circle. I feel like that's what he's saying. Like, they're going fast, headed to the top. I know I'm the man, baby, bring your friends with you. Put in points up while you in the stands and but I be stuck in these streets, you in the background. Ever since they took my brother, got a pack rounds. So little G lost his brother in 2017. So he's just saying ever since, you know, I lost my brother, I gotta have the strap on me, the gun on me. Sorry, mama, two bells took a bad route. So I'm guessing he must have like gotten in trouble maybe and had to get bailed out twice. I done got my bands up and an end stacked now, but we still OT on that bullshit. So when he says, but we been still OT on that bullshit, this could be like OT referring to overtime. So we're working overtime on that. We have overtime on the bullshit, or it could be out of town. So we're also out of town on that bullshit. Either way, we're still on the bullshit. I don't want to have to do it. Empty full clips, basically saying that they're gonna empty the gun. The clips, like however many bullets you have in your clip, they're gonna empty it. Why these ends talking Robin? They don't do shit. Basically saying that these rappers are trying to talk like they be out here robbing people, are in gangs, Drake, and they don't really do nothing. High Cali ends tapped in will cook ish. Bust down on my neck, stretched. Rocking with this tech ends better wear a vest. So he's just saying I have big chains that I wear, and if you try to snatch my chain, you'll get snatched, you'll get stretched, which is again another gang language for like laid out on the floor. Rocking with this tech, so a tech is a gun, an automatic weapon, and he's saying you better wear a vest around me. Last year I was broke, young N in the Crest. Crest is short for Country Club Crest, which is in Vallejo in California. Now a show 20 or better, broke ends keep the rest. So he's saying I used to be broke, now I'm getting money. Then it goes into verse 3, which is the boy and Kendrick Lamar. So the voice starts California N and I'm heavy in these streets. If you don't keep a po, how you ready when it's beef? This song always makes me feel like I'm from LA. So he's saying if you don't keep a pole is in reference towards a gun. How are you ready when there's beef? And I think it's really clever that he says this and then on the cover of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, we know that Kendrick has a gun like in his back waist or whatever. And there's other reasons for that too, but it could be in reference to this as well, saying like, I'm ready for the beef whenever, because I always keep a pole on me. He says, a little N think he cut, yeah, I bet that N freeze. If that N want me dead, I can't let that N breathe. Basically saying if it came down to it and I was about to shoot you or whatever, you would freeze. You wouldn't fight back. Want me gone, sent a shot like the real kind. These ends acting like they tough when they real kind. This line is just so funny because like yeah. And this is like Drake, like he's always acting like he's tough, putting on this persona, like, oh, you can't touch me, I got mob ties, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, he's real kind. He's not tough. Thumbing through 100 racks just to kill time. But they got it in at the edge, but I feel fine. So he's just saying, like, as the time is going on, he's looking through all his money that gotten. But it come with this ish, I'm okay with it. If your man's to his last share a plate with him. If your man's to his last share a plate with him. So basically, he's saying this lifestyle has me kind of on edge and, dealing with some stuff, but that's what comes with the lifestyle. And if you have like someone who is maybe down on their luck, go ahead and share like your plate with them, share what you have. One whole wood to the neck, it's an eighth in it. So again, this is in reference towards a gun, a wood in reference towards a gun, and an eighth is 8 rounds. He says, "New baby chop, let it sing, it's a Drake in." So when he says let it sing, that means to air it out or again unleash all of the bullets from the gun. And but he's also saying let it sing like how Drake sings, and then also a play on words for Drake, like a Draco being a gun, and then Drake the singer, and then this could obviously be like a call out towards Drake. Complicated line there. A lot of ish on my mind make me think a lot. Why it's hard for me to smile because I've seen a lot. So he's just saying like I have a lot of stuff on my mind and it's hard for me to smile because I've seen a lot of like sad, crazy, traumatic stuff. You ain't really in the field, you just tweet a lot. I think this is directly towards Drake because Drake stays on IG, stays on Twitter tweeting. He's not in the streets. If we ain't on the same page, you can kick a rock, bitch. And then it goes into verse 4, which is Young T.O. and Kendrick Lamar. And he says, "And I've been really trying to keep the peace, but I'm a North Vallejo in and I'm heavy in the streets." So basically he's saying he's been trying to like stay peaceful and have his like head on straight, but ultimately he's from North Vallejo, which is like, maybe have a lot of gangs, and he has gang connections. "I was raised by my granny and the gangsters. And so at 8, I made the choice I'm gonna forever be a G." Basically saying like at the age of 8 is probably when he was like, okay, this is the life I want to go into. I got to protect me and my family. "I don't really like to talk. I remember we was broke and I don't really like to walk. Now I ride around in foreign cars." He's saying I used to be broke and now I get to ride around in these foreign cars. "And I put on for my team who was with me from the start. I don't play games, stitch lip, I don't say names." So he's saying I don't snitch and I don't be playing games with people. "She want a dog, I'm a Great Dane." So Great Danes are big dogs, so he's saying I'm a big dog. "I got great aim, ice age on my damn chain." So ice age obviously meaning it's really cold and its neck is froze, which is another slang term for saying he has multiple chains. "My mama told me keep a stash for the damn rain," basically saying you need to have um, rain money or just like money on the side that's not in the banks just in case something happens. "They ain't want to see me win because I'm black, so I pulled up in that all black Benz in the back." Basically saying they don't want to see us winning because of my skin color, so I'm gonna pull up showing you that I'm a winner, not only being black, but in a black car. That's, more high end. "If you need someone to call, I'm the man for the task. You ain't standing for the cause. Meet the man in the mask." So here, the man in the mask could be either SOB and RBE, like in a ski mask. It could be Black Panther because he wears a mask. I put the boogeyman, and Drake eventually meets the boogeyman.